Hey guys, what's up? Today we are going to talk about this little sight pusher tool thing that I got in the mail. So let's talk about it. Alright, so here we go, a sight pusher tool. Before we really get into this, I am going to tell you straight up, right off the bat, this sight pusher thing was sent to me by the folks over there at Feyachi to look at, review, make videos, and do this stuff. So I didn't pay for this, okay? This is something, however, that I have been really interested in getting. Not specifically this model, but a sight pusher. I don't know how many times I have banged up, dinged up, scratched up, marred up, whatever kind of word you want to use, just destroyed sights, tacking them on, taking them off, adjusting, whatever. You know, I use brass punches because it's easier to clean up and it's not as damaging, but still, it's just a pain. Having a sight pusher is something that, from my understanding, helps alleviate a lot of that abuse that you put on your sights when you adjust them or install them, specifically install them. Adjusting them, I don't care, tapping on them a couple times, but installing new sights, that is something that you really need to take into consideration and be very careful that you don't damage stuff, right? And half the time, it's like, if you're tapping the sights out with a hammer and a punch, how do you hold the pistol still? There's all these things that come into question, like do you stick it in a vise, or you scratching it up? You know, do you just hold the gun and bang on it and then hope you're not messing up its connection, you know, turn it into a sloppy, loose pistol? You don't want to do that, right? So having a sight pusher, in theory, should help all of that just go way better, right? It's just one of those tools that a lot of people don't have, and a lot of people probably could use a couple times in their life. Some people that use and make stuff and switch out sights and do things could use it a lot. So basically, in essence, this guy kind of helps fix a lot of those problems, answers a lot of those questions, right? Fixes a lot of those problems. Those weren't really questions. But in essence, you have an adjustment here on the bottom, right? Hopefully you can see all this. You have an adjustment here on the bottom that raises and lowers this level, right? So depending on how tall your slide is, you probably just want to go ahead and take the slide off the gun. And in theory, I think that's what you're supposed to do. I didn't read the instructions, but I can only imagine. Yeah, you want to make sure the gun's unloaded and then take the slide off and then put the slide in here. And then once the slide is sitting in this little slot right here and you've adjusted it and tightened it down, then you can adjust and tighten down these two knobs on the side, which basically squeeze and hold on to the slide. I almost said suppressor, the slide, hold on to the slide. And then when that's all done, you use this little adjustment thing here to basically, like a press, it pushes out your sight. It's a sight pusher. It pushes out the sight. It doesn't apply like impact force. No, it just pushes the slide out. So instead of sitting here and talking about a whole bunch, I'm just gonna show you a project I'm working on. We're gonna put this guy, put it to the test. We're gonna put it in a vise. It has has holes right here to where if you permanently wanted to set this thing up, you could permanently affix it, right? You could screw it into some kind of base, whatever the base might be, whether it be your workbench, I could imagine that'd be good, or whatever. I mean, imagine if you owned a range. This would be a cool little addition that you could do, that you could add this to your range, screw it down, and whoever has access to your range now has access to this, and they can fix their stuff. That'd be kind of cool. Matt, you should do that. Anyway, let's jump into it. Let's run over here to the bench, and let's actually try this thing out. All right, so for purposes of today's video, we are going to be taking off these sights, Novak style sights, and front sight off of this 1911 slide. Now, we've already cleared everything out. I didn't take the barrel off because it has a cam lock system on it, and I don't want to take that off right now because I put that on, and I don't remember if we rock set it or if we Loctited it, but it's on there, and I don't want to be taking it off. So we're just going to leave it all on there. Shouldn't be any problem at all, but basically, things you want to make sure you do before you mess something up is check your sights. This one has a big Allen key, a big screw right here. Make sure you take your set screws out. That's what I'm trying to say, because if you have set screws in there and you just try to drive out the sights, well, you're going to end up causing some damage. And some slides, like I believe Smith & Wesson, right? Smith & Wesson M&Ps, they have a weird different kind of detent thing on the inside that's like underneath the sight, and when you push the sight out, a big old spring and the detent comes flying out. So know your gun if you can. If you don't know for sure, if you have that kind of potential issues, look it up. Somebody's had the problem before. Somebody's explained it before. Look it up and save yourself some trouble without losing something or breaking something, all right? But make sure you loosen, or in my case, I'm just going to take this screw out. All right, front sight doesn't have anything special. Nothing's pinned in place. Very important. hopefully nothing's pinned in place. If stuff's pinned in place, you should know. All right, but we're gonna go ahead and put this thing in, and hopefully this will be a relatively easy, quick process. Let's do it. All right, so we have our sight pusher set up on our vise. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead. I believe you're supposed to do it the other way, but it's not wanting to align properly. Actually, you know what? Maybe it does. Maybe I'm just retarded. All right, so we've lowered down this adjustment, the elevation adjustment. We've lowered it down enough. I'm going to try it this way. This is the way they show in the manual to do it. You can't really see, but there's numbers on the inside of here, and that should help later on align things. But we just have this guy in here. We're going to raise up the level of the floor. See the elevator raising up, basically. One thing I'm a little bit concerned about is the Novak sights. They sit relatively low, and I don't know if it's going to clear these little guys, right? If the Novak sights are going to push out and come in contact with here, I think they might. So if they do, we'll have to fix something, but we'll play it by ear and see. Actually, I can check right now. Yeah, so they're gonna make contact. So for this case, it's good that you can flip this thing around. So we're gonna lower this guy back down, and we're gonna put it in this way. See what I'm saying? Those side pieces right here that hold the slide still, they go right along here, right? And if they go right along here, then they're going to touch the dovetail thing in there. Whatever, I can't think right now. I used to know terms. I just don't. I don't pay so much attention to all the terms and stuff, and some people really get into that, but whatever. And now, with the included little tool, we're going to start pushing this sight. And from what I understand, I don't believe that it matters which way you push out the sight. Some sights are specific, so if you're gun specific, know your sight. So here we go. It's starting to turn a little bit, so we're gonna make sure everything is really tight. Starting to move. All right. Well, we're still gonna have to back it off a little bit. It's coming in contact a little bit. There we go. It's a little bit better. Hold everything still. Continue to push it out. Here we go. Now it's moving. Now it's coming out. Alright. Hopefully you can see. Actually, you can't see that, can you? My hand's in the way. Hopefully it'll focus back here. But it's not. And that's okay. There we go. Now you can see it pushing that side out. So anyway, pushes the side out. Does what it's supposed to do. It's not extremely secure. Not really super happy with that. But it worked. It did what it was intended to do, which was to hold everything still enough that I could get this thing off, right? And now, the sight comes out. Ha! Okay, so the sight comes out. Now, we're going to see if we can install the new one. Actually, let's go ahead and take off the front sight. And hopefully, this will simply push that front sight out. Or is it bending it? It's bending it a little bit. Let's back it out. I don't want to scratch things up. It's not doing it though. It's twisting the slide. It's twisting the slide. Why is it doing that? It's not budging at all. Well, alright. Let's try this. And if we go this direction, now it's just touching the top. Alright, here we go. It still is just twisting it. Is it just twisting it, or is it moving? I believe that is just... Yep. Alright, so now we scratched it. Alright, so we kind of scratched it up a little bit. See the front sight? Maybe right there. Maybe. Kind of see the glint off of it. We scratched it up a little bit. So I'm just going to use the old-fashioned way and hit it with a hammer. Alright, well maybe I loosened it up. I don't know, but that thing easily just kind of popped out. Well, it pushed out. I tapped it out. I thought it was all the way out. Hold on. There we go. 3 light little taps. Alright, so that guy finally came out. That's our front sight. Okay, and you can kind of see, probably won't really show it. little scratches up there. That sight pusher didn't want to push it out, and I'm not exactly sure why. This might be more specific. The pictures and things, the demonstrations that they have in the handbook and the instructions is Glock, and Glock, in my experience, is a lot easier. There's a lot more material on these suckers, so maybe it's just harder for these guys to work. Anyway, let's go ahead and fit the other sights on here, the ones that are supposed to go on here, the ones we're replacing these with, and then see if the sight pusher will push them back in. All right, so we got it started, right? We had to file and fit and file and fit and file and fit, and I think we finally got it to where it is started on here. So now we're gonna stick it in the sight pusher and see if the magic happens and it just pushes it in. We'll see. All right, so here we go. Let's see if the magic happens, or if it just starts to push things over. I don't like the looks of it so far. Nope, this is bending stuff. All right, we might have had that on slightly messed up. We're gonna retry this, and hopefully now it'll work. Hopefully, Lord willing. Let's see. Problem is it looks like it's torquing it, which could damage it, and I don't want to do that. Tell you what, let's do. Let's tap it in a little further. Maybe it'll seat better. Let's see if that'll work. All right, well, we tapped it in, basically. I'm just going to see if we can make small adjustments. This is not turning out to be the best that I wanted it to be. Had great hopes for this thing, and it's just not working out the way that I wanted it to. See, and it's doing it again. It's just pushing, it's just torquing the slide over. It's just pushing the top over. It's not, this vise is not being, it's not being strong enough to lock everything down. Well, it looks like maybe it's moving. There we go. Okay. Finally, we got some movement. I'm gonna call that good. Okay, so I think we did it. All right, this guy is in here, and I have had to tap him in, file tap, all this kind of stuff until we finally got it to where he only needs to move over about a little bit, not very much. So we're gonna try to push it over the sight pusher. We're gonna try it. Not quite sure if it's gonna work yet or not, but we'll try it. We'll see what happens. All right, if it's gonna work, then here's where it should work. Yep. It's pushing the gun over. Stick my head in front of here. Man, it is not lined up. All right, well, I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna finish this one on the just tapping it. This is the old school way to do it. There you go. All right, guys, so that is a little look at the sight pusher from Feyachi. This is the PST-35. All right, I think in working on this 1911, it didn't work as well as I would have hoped that it would have. It didn't hold the gun as secure. But these are some, in its defense, these are some tough sights to push out and to push on. They're a little bit more intensive than your standard polymer framed guns. And by that, please don't think that I'm saying polymer slides and stuff like that. I'm just saying on like a Glock, right? Or probably even a Smith & Wesson. Mostly a Glock, because Smith & Wessons have this kind of a rear sight as well. But on a Glock, the sights are a little bit more forgiving. There's less material there, right, than these kind of Novak style sights. and they push out a little bit easier. Sometimes you run into some that are very tough, right? I have had some that are very, very tough. So this may not work on every single model of firearm out there, and there might be some models that this guy will work better at than others. Just in a sample group of one, right, in one afternoon, putting the sights on this 1911, this sight pusher did help, but in general, I had to do 90% of the work with a punch and a hammer. So I think it has potential, but it's not going to be for every single pistol out there, right? And I haven't read all the manual. Maybe they even say that in here. I'm not exactly sure. So anyway, take this not as a mark of approval from me on this or disapproval. It's that this works on some, may not work on all. Okay, I hope that makes sense for you guys. I'm going to keep using it. I'm going to keep trying it on different guns whenever I switch out a sight or do something, you know, work around stuff, maybe do Cerakoting, stuff like that, and I got to remove sights and do things. I'm going to still try to use it. I'm going to still utilize it the best that I can and see where its pros and cons are, and down the road, I will give more or less a review versus an overview. This is kind of an overview on how it works and how maybe sometimes it doesn't work as well. Some things it's good for, some things it's not. I hope that makes sense, all right? Thanks again for Feyachi for sending this thing out. I really do appreciate it, and I will give it a fair shake. I will continue to use this thing and just see where its niche is. Where does it work best for me in my applications of things? If you guys are interested in something like this, there will probably be a link down below if I'm able to link one, probably an Amazon link. I do not think it is an affiliate link. If it is, then it is. If not, it's no skin off my nose. If it's down there, it's just to help you out and potentially a discount code maybe if they want to give me one. If they don't get mad at me for saying the things I said about this. Anyway, guys, if you have any questions about this, please let me know. Appreciate y'all watching, subscribing, and everything, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next video.